Armin Van Buuren returns with a brand new artist album, Mirage. Out now.
We're here with Armin Van Buuren to answer all the questions that the fans sent on Twitter and Facebook. Welcome, Armin. Are you ready for the first question?
I'm ready. I think it's very exciting that we got so many reactions on Twitter. It's incredible to see that so many people took the time to ask a question, all for my new album release, of course. Yeah. And I haven't read the questions before, so
that's
I'll
what we
them.
like. We got 1,000 reactions, and we took around 25 for you to answer.
Okay.
Shall we start?
Yes.
The first one is from Brian John Fernandez, and he says, what inspired you to become a DJ? And did you have any qualifications before you became a DJ?
What inspired me to become a DJ? I think, you know, it's the passion of sharing music with people. I mean, I'm a big music fan first and foremost. All my colleague DJs, they release albums as well, and I have all their albums in my library. I'm a big fan of music, electronic music, and I didn't expect to be such a successful DJ. For me, it was kind of a strange thing, you know, coming from DJing in a really small bar to now all of a sudden playing all over the world. So I think it's really, really special. I don't have any specific qualifications. I'm a lawyer. I finished my law degree. I have a huge interest in electronics, computers, technology, synthesizers, and as I said, a big passion for music, and I think that's all the qualification you need.
So is there somebody that inspired you to become a DJ?
There's several people that inspired me. Of course, I've said this many times before, for me, you know, the Jedi Master of DJing is Ben Liebrand. He still is a big inspiration, and still I think one of the technically most skilled DJs out there. Very underestimated, and there's loads of DJs that inspired me. You know, in the early days it was Ronald Molendijk, Dimitri, Remy, Marcello here in Holland, and of course John Digweed, Sasha, Carl Cox, Just Jules, Pete Tong, all those names from the UK in the early days, for sure.
Emil, I don't know if I pronounce this right, Agakian, that's what it says. When did it strike you to realize, holy crap, I'm going big?
Maybe today. I don't know, I guess the first real moment that I realized that, you know, something was happening was when Communication, my track, was released. It entered number 18 in the UK charts, and then on the same day I DJ'd for the very first time in Cream. It was the first time I actually DJ'd in the UK, and it was back in 2000. And I think the second moment was when I entered the DJ magazine Top 100. And then a year after, going to number 5, and you know, it's such a big honor if people go online and vote for you. You know, that really means a lot for me. I mean, there's so many great talented DJs out there, people I really admire that are in the DJ list, and you know, it's such an incredible honor to be able to play for so many people all around the world. I feel really blessed to be in this position, just sitting, you know, to be sitting here talking to you, and people asking me questions. It's a great feeling.
Tom Rogers wants to know. What's beach matching like on some of the world's largest sound systems, and what do you do to keep your ear in prime condition?
Well, something my wife always says, I always have to turn down my monitors, which she's absolutely right about. I wear earplugs when I DJ, always. And beat matching on the big system is, you know, you got to be really tight, because the little differences you hear, the same goes for if you play on radio. People hear if you're slightly off. So, but fortunately technology is helping us. I DJ right now with the CDJ 2000s, and you can really accurately DJ to make sure the beat's exactly on. But, you know, crowd interaction, record choices, beat matching, there's a lot going on when I'm behind the decks.
Joanna wants to know, who writes the lyrics to your songs, you or the vocalists?
It's different every day, you know. I went to, for example, for Mirage, I went to London to work with Guy Chambers. He's the big man behind Tokyo Hotel, Robbie Williams, loads of other acts. And we wrote 6 tracks, and one of the tracks that's on the album, Virtual Friend, was inspired by a newspaper that I got in the morning when we were in London. It said, autumn leaves treated as litter. And I thought that was a really nice metaphor. So I took the newspaper to the studio, showed it to Guy, and I explained to him why I thought it was a nice metaphor. You know, we treat beautiful things sometimes as garbage. Autumn leaves are actually really beautiful. and they were treated as litter. And I thought, people living on a bench sometimes are treated as garbage as well when they're just normal human beings. So I gave him the idea for the songs, but I speak English, but not as well as Guy, so he helped me. And so we came with all kinds of, metaphors, city boys selling countries, surgeons lifting sagging skin, all that kind of lyrical things he came up with, because he's obviously English and he's done the songwriting thing before. Other songs like Fine Without You were really co-written with Jennifer and me. We were just singing in the studio, trying several things. Burn With Desire was written together with Justine Suiza. At first she didn't really like the sentence, but you left me in the rain, which is now one of the hook lines of Burn With Desire. So I'm really proud that I pushed Justine to sing that lyric. So I think it's usually a co-write. Other tracks were completely written by other people. For example, the Nervo Sister helped me with the lyrics for Not Giving Up on Love. I wasn't there when the song was written, so that's completely written by the Nervo Sisters. And that's basically how songwriting goes for me.
Okay, so it's both. It's your inspiration and from the vocalist.
Sometimes it's completely written by someone else. Sometimes it's me and the vocalist.
Andrea Bresselin, she says, constant album and mix releases, social networks, mobile apps. Is the world of electronic music too commercial or just prolific?
That's a good question. I don't know. For me, it's still the same feeling that I have with electronic music. I try to step over my boundaries. Half of the album of Mirage is instrumental trance. People always talk about the collaborations, which are obviously a little bit more commercial, because I want to reach over to radio. If you want to have radio success, it helps if you have a vocal on top. Sometimes an instrumental tune can get in the charts, but it won't get as high. Like Full Focus was obviously the first single from Mirage. I consciously made the choice to make an instrumental track as the first single. That wasn't a commercial choice. I just wanted to show the people, hey, this is what rocks the dance floor, and I know where I come from. But I think all music grows if you try to step over your boundaries. If you look at the history of music, whether it's Bach or Beethoven or the Beatles and Bob Dylan or Pink Floyd, they all looked at each other, and music only became interesting when people stepped over boundaries. You see the same thing happening now with David Guetta and all kinds of hip-hop artists teaming up. I think it's only interesting for music. So I made the conscious choice to make half the album of Mirage instrumental trance tunes. That's where I come from. That's what I DJ. That's the sound that people know me for. That's what I like. Tracks like Orbion, Coming Home, Mirage, and all that sort of stuff. And then the other tracks are just a little bit experimentation. I like all kinds of music. I like the more housey stuff. I like the more techie stuff. I like a good song. So for me, Mirage is also a little bit of a tryout to see if people like this new direction that I'm taking. But I will never forget instrumental trance, never.
NL Track says, what makes your new album, Mirage, different from your other albums?
Mirage is a completely different album. First of all, it's my biggest project I've ever worked on. Second of all, the way that Mirage came to life was completely different than Imagine. For example, I worked with the whole classical orchestra. I worked with the band of my brother. I went to London to write with Guy Chambers. I built a completely new studio for Mirage. So it was a 2-year project, really starting from the ground up and creating 21 tracks. And I hope people can really hear that I fortunately didn't feel very much pressure to make Mirage. When I started working on Mirage, I was like, okay, so Imagine was a big success. I don't think I'm ever going to top that. So let's just go in the studio and have fun. And that's basically what I did. I wasn't thinking when I woke up in the morning like, okay, I'm voted the #1 DJ in the world. In and Out of Love was a big hit. How am I going to top this? No, I was just waking up thinking, okay, I'm going to have a day of fun in the studio. And that's I think the big difference with my previous albums. Because with Imagine I felt more the pressure, and with Mirage I just let it go. I was having fun, Like for example, the title track Mirage, I involved the whole band of my brother. I mean, it's a crazy idea, but I was like, cool, it's never been done before. Let's try it. Let's try and make it rocking. And just because I was so inspired in the studio and trying different things, I think I'm really, really pleased with the result.